The clock on the glass conference room wall read 2:47 p.m. when Marcus Aldridge first laid eyes on Alex Rivera's pitch deck. Just another overconfident millennial founder in a hoodie, suspicious by default in the venture capitalist's eyes. The resulting meeting was textbook condescension. But Aldridge's mocking laughter when Alex mentioned their advisor's name, Elena Chen, would prove to be his first and most catastrophic mistake. What the failed hedge fund manager turned VC couldn't recognize was the quiet confidence in the 24-year-old's eyes, a mirror image of the woman who had taught them to face arrogance with dignity. 3 days later, when Bloomberg terminals started flagging mysterious buy orders around Aldridge Capital, and Marcus began digging into shell companies that returned only legal walls, the real game was already in motion. Elena Chen was coming out of the shadows, and Silicon Valley would never be the same. Before we begin, tell us in the comments from which city are you watching. And at the end, do not forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. The afternoon sun blazed through floor-to-ceiling windows of Aldridge Capital's Sand Hill Road office as Alex Rivera stood before the mahogany conference table. At 24, Alex had mastered the art of presenting like they belonged, despite the imposter syndrome screaming otherwise. The pitch deck glowed on the 80-inch screen. NeuroFlow, AI-powered mental health platform. But in Silicon Valley's most exclusive VC offices, being young, Hispanic, and from a state school meant you were suspicious by default, especially to Marcus Aldridge. As Alex clicked through slides, Marcus's eyes never left his phone. His partner, Jennifer Wu, at least pretended to pay attention, but the slight headshakes told Alex everything. The other analysts sat stone-faced, already mentally onto their next meeting. So you're seeking $12 million in Series A funding. Marcus finally spoke, not looking up. Interesting. Tell me, where did you go to school again? San Jose State, sir. Computer science and state school. Marcus glanced at Jennifer with a smirk. And your previous experience in healthcare? I don't have traditional healthcare experience, but my mother's a psychiatric nurse, and I've seen firsthand. Right. Marcus waved dismissively. Family stories. Look, kid. Do you know how many mental health apps cross this desk? Hundreds. Most built by Stanford MDs with actual credentials. Alex's jaw tightened, but kept their expression neutral, just as Elena had taught them. Our technology is different. We've developed... Who else is on your advisory board? Jennifer interrupted, clearly trying to move the meeting along. Alex straightened. Elena Chen has been advising me for the past 18 months. She's guided our entire strategy. The room went silent for a beat. Then Marcus erupted into laughter that echoed off the glass walls. Elena Chen? He repeated, loud enough for the assistants outside to hear. You mean the Elena Chen, the phantom of Silicon Valley? He turned to Jennifer. This kid claims they're advised by a ghost. Alex's heart pounded, but their voice stayed steady. She's very real. She's been mentoring me since I was an undergrad. Sure she has. Marcus stood, walking to the window. Let me guess. She showed up one day, took you under her wing, taught you all her secrets? The sarcasm dripped like acid. Actually, yes. Marcus turned back, grinning. Listen, Alex. I've been in this industry 20 years. Elena Chen is an urban legend, a name people drop to seem connected. Oh, Elena Chen told me this. Elena Chen invested in that. Nobody's actually seen her in a decade. Unnoticed by the VCs outside the glass conference room, Jamie Park, a tech journalist covering the funding round, had their phone out, recording the exchange. Something about the founder's calm certainty made Jamie keep filming. Mr. Aldridge, Alex said quietly, Elena Chen is very real. She's taught me that real power doesn't need announcement. Marcus laughed again. That's adorable. Did she also teach you that real investors need real advisors, not fairy tales? Jennifer shifted uncomfortably. Marcus, maybe we should... No, I want to hear more about the mystical Elena Chen. Marcus leaned on the table. What else did your imaginary mentor teach you? How to turn water into unicorn valuations. Alex carefully packed their laptop. She taught me that people reveal exactly who they are when they think nobody's watching. Thank you for your time. As Alex walked toward the door, Marcus called out, Good luck with your state school app, kid. And tell Elena Chen I said hi, if you ever actually meet her. The door closed quietly behind Alex. Marcus returned to his seat, already forgetting the meeting. Another dreamer. How many more today? But Jennifer was staring at her computer screen, fingers flying across her keyboard. Marcus, when did you say you last verified information about Elena Chen? Why would I waste time on a myth? Because I'm looking at some old Forbes articles from 15 years ago. Her face had gone pale. Before she disappeared from public view. Marcus, do you know who Elena Chen actually is? Alex walked through the parking garage, hands shaking despite the calm exterior maintained upstairs. The elevator doors opened to reveal a modest Honda Civic, nothing like the Teslas and Porsches surrounding it. Before starting the car, Alex sent a text to a number saved only as EC. They didn't believe me. Said you're a myth. The response came within seconds. Expected. How did you handle it? With dignity. Just like you taught me. Good. Come by the house tonight. We should talk. Meanwhile, back at Aldrich Capital, Marcus scrolled through old tech news, his confidence beginning to crack. The name Elena Chen appeared in articles from 2008, 2009, 2010, then vanished. Find anything? Jennifer asked. Nothing recent, just old stuff about some early Facebook investor. He closed his laptop. Probably a different Elena Chen. Marcus. Jennifer turned her screen toward him. Look at this photo from TechCrunch Disrupt 2009. The image showed a young Asian woman in a black suit, standing between Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel. The caption read, Angel investor Elena Chen sent her after her fund's $50 Series B investment in Facebook. Marcus squinted. That can't be. There's more. Jennifer clicked through archived articles. Early investor in Uber. First institutional money into Airbnb. Seed investor in Stripe. She paused. Marcus, if even half of these investments are real, Elena Chen would be worth billions. Marcus finished, his throat dry. But why disappear? Why become a ghost? According to this 2011 interview, she said something about wanting to mentor the next generation without the noise of fame. Then she just vanished from public record. Marcus grabbed his phone. Get me everything you can find. I want to know if this is the same Elena Chen that kid mentioned. That evening, Alex pulled up to a modest craftsman house in Palo Alto's old neighborhood, where real estate cost $5 million but looked like it should cost $500,000. Elena Chen opened the door in jeans and a Stanford sweatshirt, looking nothing like the billionaire she was. Come in, Alex. Tea? They sat in the living room, surrounded by books and vintage tech memorabilia. Nothing screamed wealth, except for the vintage Apple I computer casually displayed on a shelf, worth over $1 million. Tell me everything, Elena said. Alex recounted the meeting, Marcus's mockery, the humiliation. I shouldn't have mentioned your name. I know you value privacy. Elena smiled. You did nothing wrong. I asked you to be honest, and now we know exactly who Marcus Aldrich is. She pulled out an iPad. Let me tell you about the man who mocked you today. She showed Alex documents. Marcus's track record of failed investments, his forced resignation from a hedge fund in 2015, complaints from female entrepreneurs about his behavior, proof he'd plagiarized pitch decks. "How do you have all this?" Alex asked. "I make it my business to know who's in positions of power. Marcus has been on my radar for years. He's everything wrong with this industry. Gatekeeping, ego, cruelty disguised as tough love." She set down the iPad. "The question is, what do we do about it?" "We?" "Alex, when someone mocks my student, they mock me, and I have a very long memory." Across town, Marcus sat in his home office, surrounded by printouts and browser tabs. His wife appeared in the doorway. "Coming to bed?" "In a minute." He stared at a 2010 photo of Elena Chen shaking hands with Steve Jobs. "I think I made a mistake today, honey. A big one." The next morning, Jamie Park published a blog post. "What I Witnessed. VC Marcus Aldridge mocks young founder for claiming connection to legendary investor Elena Chen." The post included audio clips from the recording. It spread quietly at first. A few hundred shares among startup founders who'd experienced similar dismissals. But then someone tagged it with, "Bruno, where is Elena Chen?" And it exploded. By noon, it was trending. Marcus's phone started ringing. Reporters asking for comment. Portfolio companies asking if it was true. His partners demanding a meeting. "Did you actually mock a founder for claiming to know Elena Chen?" his managing partner demanded. "The kid was obviously lying." "Was he?" "Because I just got an email from someone claiming to be Elena Chen's attorney. They're requesting all documentation of our interaction with Alex Rivera." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "That doesn't prove anything." "It proves someone thinks it's real enough to lawyer up." 3 days after the disastrous pitch, Alex received an invitation to a private investors' dinner in San Francisco. "Elena thinks you should attend," the email read. "Dress professionally." The venue was an unmarked door in Pacific Heights. Inside, understated elegance. Maybe 30 people, all speaking quietly, no obvious displays of wealth. Alex recognized several faces from Forbes covers, but they looked like accountants and teachers, not billionaires. Then Elena arrived. She moved through the room with quiet authority, and Alex watched as titans of industry straightened slightly when she passed, like planets acknowledging the sun. She introduced Alex to everyone. "This is Alex Rivera. They're building something important in mental health tech. Watch them closely." A hedge fund manager offered to connect Alex with hospital systems. A former surgeon general wanted to advise. A biotech CEO mentioned their corporate venture fund. In 30 minutes, Alex secured more valuable connections than 6 months of cold emails. "How?" Alex whispered to Elena. "This is my world," Elena said simply. "The one Marcus Aldridge will never see." Meanwhile, Marcus had his own meeting with his firm's limited partners. The largest LP, a university endowment, had questions. "We've been receiving calls," the endowment manager said, "about a video of you mocking a founder, about possible pattern of behavior. Marcus, we need to protect our reputation. It's overblown." One interaction: "We pulled your investment committee notes. You've rejected 14 companies led by women or minorities this quarter, all with dismissive comments." "That's not... those were legitimate business reasons." "Were they?" "Because we're hiring an independent firm to audit your decision-making process." After the meeting, Marcus sat alone in his car, hands trembling. He pulled up Alex's LinkedIn profile, then searched for Elena Chen. Nothing recent. No social media. No public profile. Just old articles about investments that had returned billions. He composed an email to the only address he could find, a contact form on an inactive website. "Ms. Chen, if you're reading this, I apologize for my comments about Alex Rivera. I was unprofessional. I'd welcome the chance to reconsider their company." The response came within an hour, from a different email address. Mr. Aldridge, you didn't offend me. You revealed yourself, and now everyone knows who you are. Sincerely, Elena Chen. Marcus stared at the email. It was really her, and she'd been watching the whole time. The tech world moves fast when blood is in the water. Within a week, 3 of Aldridge Capital's portfolio companies requested different lead investors. 2 associates resigned. The firm's reputation, built on Marcus's bluster and connections, crumbled like sand. Marcus made his last desperate play. He showed up at Alex's small office, a converted garage in San Jose. "We need to talk," Marcus said, looking diminished in the harsh, fluorescent light. Alex looked up from their laptop. "Do we?" "I want to invest, the full $12 million. Better terms than you'd get elsewhere." "Why?" "Because I was wrong about you, about your advisor, about everything." Marcus's voice cracked slightly. "Look, I know I was a jerk, but I'm trying to make it right." Alex saved their work, closed the laptop. "Mr. Aldridge, let me tell you what Elena taught me about people like you. She said there are 2 types of powerful people, those who lift others up and those who step on others to feel tall. You've spent your career being the second type. People can change, can they? Or do they just change tactics when consequences arrive?" Alex stood. "You're not here because you believe in Neuroflow. You're here because you're scared, because someone more powerful than you decided to remind you what actual power looks like." "Is she coming after my firm?" "Elena doesn't need to come after anyone. She just stops protecting them." Alex moved toward the door. "You built your career on connections, Marcus. What happens when those connections hear you mocked her judgment?" Marcus's phone buzzed, a text from his managing partner. "Emergency meeting. LP pulling 200 manus. Need to discuss." He looked at Alex with something between rage and despair. "You told her to destroy me." "I didn't tell her anything. Elena makes her own decisions. But I'll tell you what she told me when I asked what would happen to you." Alex opened the door. She said, "I won't destroy him. I'll just let everyone see who he already is." 2 months later, Neuroflow closed a $15 million Series A, led by a consortium of mission-driven investors Elena quietly assembled. Marcus Aldridge was no longer at Aldridge Capital, forced out by his own partners. But the real change was bigger. Jamie Park's article had sparked a movement, getting on Who's Your Elena, where founders shared stories of mentors who believed in them when gatekeepers didn't. Elena Chen became a symbol, proof that real power works quietly, that the best investors focus on potential over pedigree. At the funding announcement, a reporter asked Alex, "Do you think Marcus Aldridge learned anything?" Alex considered the question. "I think he learned that cruelty has consequences. Whether he learned kindness, that's up to him." Elena watched from the back of the room, a slight smile on her face. She caught Alex's eye, gave the smallest nod, then slipped out before anyone could ask for photos. That night, Alex received a final text from her. "You didn't need me to succeed. You just needed to believe in yourself. I'm proud of you. Thank you for everything," Alex replied. "No, thank you for proving that dignity and excellence can coexist. Now go build something beautiful. And one day, find your own Alex to mentor." As Alex looked at the message, they understood. Elena's real power wasn't her billions or her network. It was her ability to see potential in people everyone else overlooked. And now, carrying that lesson forward was Alex's responsibility. The cycle continues. The underestimated become the believers, and people like Marcus Aldridge, who mistake credentials for character, slowly lose their power to those who understand what power actually means. What would you risk to prove the doubters wrong? How far would you go when someone mocks your mentor, your dreams, your worth? Alex Rivera showed us their answer. What's yours? Like and subscribe for more stories, where quiet power defeats loud arrogance, where dignity wins over cruelty, and where the overlooked become unstoppable. If this story touched, you remember you don't need to be a champion to make a difference. You need the courage to stand for what's right, the humility to admit you're wrong, and the generosity to lift others up. That is the kind of strength that changes the world. Thank you for watching to the end. If today's story touched you even a little, please hit subscribe so you won't miss new episodes every week. Which moment did you like most in the story? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video so the algorithm knows you want more stories of justice and healing. If you're watching from a particular city, share where you're tuning in from. I'd love to see how wide our community reaches. See you next episode. A secret unlocked by a late apology. Tap the bell to get notified the moment it goes live. What we learn from this story is that the most powerful way to change your life isn't by accepting what desperation tempts you to take, but by staying so unshakably rooted in your values that you transform a moment of crisis into a movement that ripples through generations. Because money solves today's problems, but principles built into systems solve tomorrow's problems for thousands of people you'll never meet.